Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Odyssey, Book 3, and I got up to line 193, the top of the page. So, Atreide de kai autoi acuity nosvin I ontes. So we have a participle here. So, although being nosvin from afar, so although you're a long way away, you yourselves, this will be, well, perhaps it's present, you yourself hear about the son of Atreus. So the story of Agamemnon was so famous that everybody knew it, even though he lives far away. So although being far away, it's almost you are aware or you will have heard, it's just a kuete. You yourselves hear the story of the son of Atreus. Now we get hose and hose. It's something like how he came and how Aigisthos, Emeisato from Maidamai, devised Lugron Olethron, a baneful destruction, a wicked, destructive destruction. Baneful is an old word often used to translate Lugron. Aleitokenos men. Now we get this funny adverb here, which is extremely, or fairly rare. I think it's only in a couple of times in Homer, and then it only reappears in the later Hellenistic writers who are picking the most obscure words out of Homer anyway. It means miserably or sadly. And indeed, Kainos for Ekainos, referring back to Aigisthos, he, and apotisen is from apotino or apotio, he sadly paid the price, or miserably paid the price. Hos agathon, this is a little bit tricky here, hos agathon kai, since we've got to supply estin, it is a good thing also for a paida, a son of a man who has died, from kata theo is the verb, to be left behind. So what a good thing it is that when that a son of a man who has died is left behind, since also kainos for ekainos. Now this is referring back to the paida, this is Orestes, since also he, Etiseta, got revenge on the Patrophonia, the murderer of his father. This is from Phonius, Patra, root, pater, and Phonius, the murderer of his father. And then in opposition to that, Aigisthos, the wily one. So the one who performs trickery with his mind. So wily, or Odysseus the trickster, who, that's Aigisthos, Ektar, this is an apocopated aorist from katano. It's a very common little word in Homer. It simply means killed, and it's a nice little very short ektar, short for ektana. So who, ektane, who killed the famous father Hoi for him. That is, dative of the possessor, his famous father. That is, referring back to Orestes. So just to do that again. So how good a thing it is for the son of a dead man to be left behind, since also he, that is the son, got vengeance on the slayer of his father, the wily Aigisthos, who murdered his famous father. Kaisuphilos, and you, dear boy, malaga sehorao, for I see you, the mala just emphasizes it, I see you being very kalos, very noble, and megan, well, now, you've grown up perhaps, megan just means big of course, but so noble and large, Alkimos S, this is for Essie, so you are Alkimos, valiant. It's a lovely word, Alkimos. You are valiant. Now Hina, in order that, it's almost so that, but in order that someone might speak well of you, someone of those who are born late, that is later. So these are future generations. So in order that, or perhaps almost so that, someone of later generations also may speak well of you. Slightly tricky little bit there. Ton Telemachos Pepnumenos Antion Auda. So the point about this earlier bit section is, of course, that Nestor is giving him an exemplar and say, look, Orestes got revenge on the slayer of his father, and you're in a similar boat here. You're the only son left of famous Odysseus, and you should think of Orestes as a kind of role model. So thoughtful Telemachus, moreover, or again perhaps, replied back to him. So replied to him, O Nestor, son of Neleus, Megakudos Achaeon, great glory of the Achaeans, Kai Leon Kanos men etisanto. So the Leon normally means exceedingly. Probably here and at other places in Homer, it simply emphasises things, so it's surely. So surely that man, that's referring to Orestes, Etiseta, got revenge. And the Achaeans, Oisusi, this is Oi from Oiso, future of Pharaoh, they will carry his broad reputation, kleos, and oidein, song, literally, so a song about him, even to those being about to be. So the men of the future. So the Achaeans will celebrate his reputation, his broad reputation. This is a neuter noun, hence euro, and a song even to men of the future, even to those who are about to be. Agar, now this is Agar's idiomatic, so would that, and normally takes an optative as here, would that the gods, the verb here is perithein, it's an optative. It's a metaphor from, it's from peritheo, literally to run around. It's a expression used for putting on armour, so to invest or clothe. So would that the gods might clothe me, would put such power for me, clothe me. We would say in English, clothe me with such power. The Greek says, clothe such power upon me, around me, in the peri here. So would that the gods would clothe me with such power, tisasthai, to get revenge on the suitors, the menasteras. Now we get a genitive here, huperbazios. This is from huper plus bino, to overstep. And algynos is a very common adjective meaning grievous or painful. Alaganos. So to get revenge on the suitors for their grievous overstepping of the mark, or their grievous misdemeanours or sins or something, for the huperbasias, literally means to step over the mark. Hoi demoi hubrisontes, they who, and the te is just a connective here, and they who hubrisontes, treating me, or being insolently, or being insolent, being very arrogant, who meka ontai, who devise, it's from that connected with our verb mechanical and so on, so they who devise, this is a neuter plural, adjective, in fact. Atastalos is the adjective. It's wickedness, wickednesses, reckless contempt, it's sometimes translated. So who, in their insolence, devise wickednesses for me, al umoi tosuton ek, but the gods, and then we get u, the accents from the moi here, who, not I mean, ep eklosan, this is the verb for spinning, is the verb here. It's epiklo, I think is the verb. It means to spin. The ancients thought of one's fate as being spun like a spider's web. And in fact, one group of the fates are called the spinners. So nor have the gods spun such olbos, such happiness, moi for me, and then both to my father and to me. But now kray, in later Greek you learn kray as a sort of verb, impersonal verb meaning it is necessary. It was originally a noun meaning need, and it probably perhaps still has that sense here, and you've got to supply esti. So, but now, empes, nevertheless, there is need, tetlamin, this is a reduplicated infinitive here from tlao, to endure it, to bear with it, to put up with it. Ton de mebe epaetegerenius hypota Nestor. So hypota is actually a nominative. We've seen this before. It means the horseman. So Nestor, the Gerenian horseman, then replied to him, "O Philly, O dear boy, since," now the main verb is here, anemnesa, since you have called to mind these things, so we would say, since you have reminded me in respect of these things, then, and you have mentioned them, apas, you have spoken of them, they say that on account of your mother, they say that many suitors in the halls are devising, they say that they are devising kaka, evil things, a ekati sethen. Now this sethen for sue, a ekati is despite you, against your will, something like that. So they say that the many suitors, because of your mother, the many suitors in the halls, they say that they are devising evil things despite you. So, in other words, against your will. Apemoi kahikon hupademnasai. This is a funny little bit here. So, this is imperative here, tell me, and we get a and a. So either hekon willingly, are you being oppressed, from hupadamnami, so are you willingly being oppressed, or do the people get, in fact, ana daemon, up and down the land, do they hate you? Epispomenoi, from epihepomai is the verb, sort of following, and it takes a dative, following the omphe. The omphe, it means a voice, but it's a word only ever used of a voice from the god, perhaps some kind of oracle. So following the voice of the god, or perhaps the prompting of a god. Tis oid a kepotis phoebias apotisatai eltho. So who knows if ever he having come, that must be Odysseus presumably, will get revenge, spe on them, spe for spici here I think, bias genitive, for their violence. So who knows if ever he having come will get revenge on them for their violence. Either hogemunos eon, either he in fact, eon participle from the verb to be, being alone, munos from monos, or also all the Achaeans together, sumpantes Achaioi. Now we get this agar again, which is that would that. So agar sehos etheloi philein glaucopis Athene. So would that grey-eyed Athena would be willing, so would that she might be willing, thus, in this way, philein, to show kindness to you, or to love you. So would that grey-eyed Athena, we've had this before, either grey-eyed or however you want to translate it, owl-eyed Athena, might be willing to love you. Now we get hos and hos. Might love you thus, just as, is the sense of it, might love you thus, as once, perikaidatai, kaidatot from kaidamai, she showed concern for a glorious or noble, perhaps kudalamios, Odysseus, en demo Troon, in the land of the Trojans, Hothi, where we Achaeans, this is from Pasco, suffered griefs. So just to do that bit again. So would that grey-eyed Athena might be willing to love you, just as she did when she cared once for glorious Odysseus in the land of the Trojans, where we Achaeans suffered grief. Ugapo idon hodithius anaphanda philutas hos kano anaphanda paristotopalas Athene. So we get some dashes here because it sort of breaks off a little bit. So for upo, not yet, idon for adon, have I seen in this way gods, philuntas, showing kindness. Anaphanda is adverbial here. The word only occurs here. You can see the far root of open or shining or something. So it means openly, or in the eyes of all, perhaps openly. So, for I have never seen the gods in this way, showing kindness openly. And then as Pallas Athena stood openly again beside Kano, that man, that is Odysseus. Asahutos etheloi philein kadamite. So if thus she were willing, philein, uncontracted, to love you or to show kindness to you, and kaidoita, she might have concern, thumo, in her heart. To is the then or therefore. So in that case, a certain one, canon of them. Now that simply means one of the suitors, indeed also, ek lelathoita, this is a regiorist optative from ek lanthanamai, to forget. and it's a reduplicated, I think it's a reduplicated aorist here, not perfect. So in that case, at least one of them, almost, that's probably the ge here, one of them in fact also would forget all about gamoia, genitive, marriage. So if Athena was willing to show kindness to you in this way and to have a care for you in her heart, then in that case, one of them, in fact, probably all of them, and it's idiomatic here, I think the sense is all of them, but it's sort of one of them at least also would give up all thoughts of marriage. Give up the thought of marriage. And that's the next section of Book 3.